नादाधीनं जगत्सर्वम्
राजस्थाने सभास्थाने देवागारे यथाक्रमम् बाह्यमभ्यन्तरं नाट्यं शुभदम् शास्त्रसम्मतम्.
The dance which is performed in the royal courts and in gatherings of learned people, both within and outside the temple, is deemed auspicious and has the approval of the Shastras.
Vilasini Natyam is the comprehensive representation of a dance tradition which was practiced over centuries by Telugu hereditary singer dancers in the temples, royal courts and public performance spaces in southern India. A 10th century inscription in Andhra Pradesh refers to such a singer dancer as a Vilasini. Later, she was also called Vidya Vilasini, Ata Veladi, Gudichetti, etc. In common language, she was called Sani or Bhogam Sani, a term derived from the Sanskrit Bhogini Swamini. The Bharatam practiced by the Bhogini Swaminis therefore came to be called Saniyata.
Who were these artists? What was their performing tradition?
Come, let us find the answers to these questions by taking a quick walk down the lanes of southern India's dance history. The traditional dancing girl was called Nitya Sumangali or the ever auspicious woman on account of her association with the infinite divinity. Hence, her presence was considered essential on auspicious occasions such as births and marriages.
The temple dance system declined during the later period of the Mughal Empire and the rise of European power. The professional artistic community who served temples faced increased exploitation. Due to social pressure, temple dancing was banned altogether by the British colonial rulers in 1947. From 1993, ancient temple dances were recovered by Swapnasundari, who reintegrated these with rituals of worship.
Vishwa Srishti Sthitилaya Prabhu Jeevitam Vyomatesha Pitanu Chitvaya Nishkalam Mrugavahanam Devadanava Manushad Pipilikadi Majeva Krit Bheritadana Vayu Ghoshana Vayutalamidam Priyam Vayutalamidam Priyam Vayutalamidam Priyam Vayutalamidam Priyam.
Today, more women and men perform them both in the temple and on stage.
Himagiri I started learning Kuchipudi dance when I was 6 from Srimati Shobha Naidu, and I was in the academy for about 14 years. After training in Kuchipudi, I became an independent teacher and performer of Kuchipudi. I had seen Vilasini Natyam in the temple of Ranganatha Swami Mandir in Rangbagh. It was performed by Srimati Swapnasundari. When I saw this dance form, it just made me feel that this was what I was waiting for all my life. Because even when I was performing Kuchipudi, I always knew there was something more that I had to be doing. There was a certain purpose, there is a certain purpose for dance which I thought was not really being served in Kuchipudi. But when I saw this dance form, this Vilasini Natyam, in the temple, I thought, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I knew this is where I should be.
My association with dance began probably when I was 4. I started doing Bharatanatyam, learned it with my mother, and have been performing it since then. Now I am performing both the styles, Bharatanatyam and Vilasini Natyam. My entry into Vilasini is very interesting. I probably didn't have much knowledge about it when I went to Swapna Akka. I went to her primarily for training in Abhinaya, but she told me that her whole approach towards Abhinaya has changed after doing Vilasini. So she said that she can't compartmentalize her training and just focus on Abhinaya alone. So I was drawn towards Vilasini in this way, and now my association with this, I think, is lifetime. I love this art form for many reasons. Primarily being that it combines many experiences. Dancing in the stage is one experience, dancing in the temple is another experience. Even the entire repertoire gives me so many varieties of experiences which are probably very different from what I used to have in Bharatanatyam. I would like to add another thing which I feel very strongly now, is that there is an inner world and there is an outer world. I feel as a performer, I have come very closer to my inner world, especially after doing Vilasini Natyam.
The style of Kuchipudi that I learnt is considered to be the older style, which has retained the body movement in a more natural form. I find that very similar to what I see in Vilasini and very different to what I see in Kuchipudi today, which has been adapted more to the more broader movement, I guess, because it has been mainly taken over and taught by male gurus. And the salient difference, I guess, is the stylization which has now entered Kuchipudi and the absolutely natural element which we find in Vilasini, which is very natural to the feminine body.
मैं उम्र की 14 साल से कथक नृत्य सीखता था. उसके बाद में मैंने भरतनाट्यम भी सीखा है थोड़े दिन के लिए, फिर कुचिपुड़ी भी थोड़े दिन के लिए, जस्ट मेरे नॉलेज के लिए मैंने सीखा है. बाद में मैंने विलासिनी की ट्रेनिंग शुरू की है. सबसे उसमें ज़्यादा आकर्षण मुझे इस बात ने किया कि जैसे मैंने ये टेम्पल रिचुअल देखा तो उसमें जैसे मानो भगवान से स्वयं खुद बात कर रहे हैं, ऐसा कुछ एक मुझे अनुभव हुआ देखकर सपना जी जब नाचती थी. और मैं उनके साथ में उनके इस रिसर्च वर्क में बिल्कुल पहले दिन से लगा रहा. तो उन बूढ़ी जो देवदासियों का मैंने डांस देखा था और उनका अभिनय जो मैंने देखा, तो शायद मेरी ज़िंदगी में मैंने किसी अभिनय को समझा नहीं जो कि मैं उनके अभिनय को देख के समझा. हर एक लाइन, हर एक वर्ड को बिल्कुल क्लियर, बिल्कुल कोई अनाड़ी भी अगर आदमी आप बिठा दे उनके सामने तो वो भी समझ जाएगा वो क्या बोलना चाह रही है. तो आई वॉज जस्ट कैरिड अवे और मैंने सोचा कि मैं इसको ज़रूर सीखूँगा और इसको परफॉर्म भी करूँगा और इसके प्रसार में मेरे से जितना भी सहयोग हो सकता है मैं उसमें मेरा योगदान करूँगा.
I am learning Kuchipudi since my childhood. Initially I have taken my initial training of Kuchipudi under Srimati Madali Usha Gayatri Garu. Then I have joined Hyderabad Central University and I have done masters in Kuchipudi dance. Presently I am under the able guidance of Guru Sri Pasumarthi Ramalinga Sastri. I have been performing Kuchipudi performances in and around Andhra Pradesh for almost 8 years for now. I've seen Padma Bhushan Dr. Swapnasundari ji performing this particular dance called Vilasini Natyam in one of the major places of Hyderabad. I'm very much inspired by this style of dancing.
This is our family temple from my mother's side, and I've been coming here from childhood, and I have a special bond with the temple. Now how I started was, I had seen Swapna ji dancing, and I was always inspired and I was always keen to learn dance, but I had never taken any formal training in classical dance. But then once after the first year when she performed, that was in '96, we had a family function here in Hyderabad, and there I had performed a small dance where at the same time where my mama, Mr. Sharat Pitti, he and Swapna ji were deciding on teaching somebody this dance, because it was not basically, they wanted somebody who would dance for the seva part of it, and not as a performance on stage for monetary benefits. Like they should have those kind of feelings. We all decided that probably I could learn this dance. I could see whether I can actually go ahead, and and then we decided, and I started learning from her. My learning started only in December '96, and '97 February was our Brahmotsav, the festival here. So I had a very short time, but in that much time, probably 1.5 months, Swapna ji taught me the basic fundamentals and like a few of the sevas, and then that was the first year when I performed.
The main thing I found strange and a little frightening also doing it in the temple is the fact that you have to connect at the same time be disconnected, because there are people all around you looking straight at you, but you have to detach yourself from those people and think only of the deity or the god. It is a difficult process because you have external distraction, you have to internalize yourself. This is not such a problem on the proscenium stage, because even though you have people sitting in front of you, you always have the liberty of looking over their heads and taking them as one whole or one mass. You don't have to see them as individuals. So this kind of thing, I think, is an exercise in internalization actually.
The difference is vast. Firstly, when we perform on stage, we are catering to an audience and the audience alone. And we do tend to kind of compromise a little bit because of the distance or the number or whatever. And we need to imagine, or the mental makeup has to be different when you need to imagine and picturize God in front of you. But in the temple, God himself is sitting in front of you and he's there to accept whatever you do. The feeling is ecstatic when you know that when there is Balabhogam going on, when he's having his breakfast, you're dancing for him so that he feels good. And he actually feels good when you're dancing for him. So this feeling is something inexplicable, I should say.
I feel very good dancing in front of God. You know, that dancing in very pious and sacred atmosphere of the temple is something very different and very marvelous.
One thing which is very, I should say, confusing and at the same time very convincing about dancing in temple is the kind of lifestyle we portray and we experience. Although we dance only for 10 days in temple in a year, I feel even in those 10 days we are kind of oscillating between two cultures. Even though we are here from morning till night in the temple, we do Baliharan, we do Palaki Seva twice. But as a dancer, I feel it's very difficult for me to experience what real Devadasi would have felt. no matter how much we read about them, no matter how much we do their items, it is difficult because we are only imagining a world they lived in. Probably it will grow on us with years, but as for now, I feel as if switching between two worlds, world outside the temple and world inside the temple, intrinsically and otherwise. Dance to a palaki, the whole thing is taken out, we are a part of the whole procession. But somewhere I do feel it's a very practical thing that we do. To actually get that thing inside our whole system, inside a psyche, to feel that ritual, I think we need to grow with this style more. I don't say lifestyle, but with a dance style.
For many centuries, feudal societies across the world considered the king as a living aspect of God. Hence, whatever assets and privileges were enjoyed by the divinity were similarly enjoyed by the ruling monarch. In the Indian subcontinent too, royal courts appointed trained singer-dancers to serve as Rajanartakis or court dancers. These artists were drawn from the same hereditary class as the temple dancers. A dance repertoire replete with highly stylized and sophisticated motifs emerged in the royal court. Besides temple ritual dancing, Vilasini Natyam places equal emphasis on the court repertoire.
సమయము పదరగిపుడు సదనమునకు అరమరలిక సాయదగుణ మనవిగై కొను
When I was learning Vilasini Natyam from veteran Telugu temple dancers like Srimati Golukonda Bharatamma, Srimati Pottigari Ranganayakamma of the Southern Andhra School, Srimati Saride Anasuya and Srimati Maddula Lakshmi Narayana of the Coastal Andhra School, I was fortunate to be guided by the late Telugu poet and cultural historian Dr. Arudra. Dr. Arudra helped me in the work of correlating various elements of Vilasini Natyam as taught to me by these hereditary artists with the tenets contained in classical dance texts such as the Natya Shastra and Nritta Ratnavali. In fact, it was Dr. Arudra and several Telugu temple dancers themselves who, together with a panel of over 50 distinguished scholars and dance experts, decided upon the name Vilasini Natyam for the Bharatam of Telugu temple court dancers. Since 1994-95, I have been propelled by a feeling of great compulsion to restore to Vilasini Natyam its due honor in the field of Indian classical dance. Hence, I have been propagating this rich artistic legacy of Andhra Pradesh. Vilasini Natyam is distinguished by a complex repertoire which evolved in the hands of the hereditary temple court dancers in the three contexts where they practice their art, that is, the temple, the royal court, and the public performance spaces. Therefore, exponents of Vilasini Natyam learn temple ritual dance and perform it today as a part of live worship, besides the items drawn from the repertoire of the royal courts. They also learn and perform the operatic dances which were meant for the general public. All three aspects of Vilasini Natyam are showcased in this series.